Hey, what's up, guys? So here we are back again for another mini series in Python. And this one I wanted to aim it at the BACnet stacks in Python. So how to use the BACnet stacks. At least I'll tell you everything that I know. It's not an advanced networking course or anything like that, but it's just I think you should have like a basic idea of networking, just like a technician's like a building automation field technician's level of networking, where we know what a router is, we know what IP addresses are, we know what subnets are, we know what the gateway router address is, typical things that we'd get from an IT guy on setting up a building automation system. So we'll kind of use a little bit of that building automation high level basic networking concepts to make some Python scripts that'll interact with BACnet systems with the Python BACnet stacks. So this coursework is all generated by AI, by ChatGPT in agent mode, and it created all these lessons, 40 days worth of lessons. So hopefully the coursework is good. I haven't looked at it too much, but it basically will get us how to install Python and then how to start using the Python BACnet stacks. And if there's a lot of these things that might have to be cleaned up. So as we go through this coursework, if there's some stuff in the course material that's like these references, I hate this. It's like all of the AI tools, at least Gemini and ChatGPT, they leave these references even in your code, and it'll error out your code. So yeah, if there's things in this course, as we go through it, I'll clean it up. But there should be a nice another YouTube coursework for how to use the Python BACnet stacks, and I'll try and go over everything myself. And then like towards the end, we'll get into how to make your own BACnet device. Use Wireshark with TCP dump. So week 1 is getting started with Python. Week 2 is very high level what Python is for lists, loops, and dictionaries. Getting into function and modules, data structures, simple algorithms, and then we'll also make some like a BACnet server. So that's like basically you can set up a Raspberry Pi or some other device to be a discoverable BACnet device. I've made my own web weather stations before, so maybe we could do some little examples like this. That would be kind of fun to make your own BACnet device. All right, so we'll start off with installing Python, and pip is the Python package manager, and kind of work through these daily operators in Python. So here we go. Let's get started. So just to the high level, there is a package called BAC0, and there's also BACpypes. So BACpypes is the underlying networking stack in Python for BACnet. It's been around for a long time. Joel Bender is the maintainer, original creator. It's actually gone to an async version of Python. So like Python has been moving towards async IO and asynchronous Python coding. Nothing you need to worry about now, but there's I think in Python version 3.12, there is a previous and older package, the original BACpypes package. They call it Legacy BACpypes. That is not asynchronous, and it will not work on newer versions of Python. So that's why I think Joel developed over the last couple of years for this new BACpypes3, which is actually really cool. I love working with this. I've made lots of apps, from weather stations to demand response to data collection. So anything you want to do, you can use BACpypes directly and tie it with Python. Then BAC0 is actually built on BACpypes. So I've been playing around with BAC0 for a number of years. I actually started out with BAC0, and I'm very grateful that Christian Tremblay created this project, because for a long time when I was a field technician, probably this is like Python version 3.6 days, 3.7. If Christian would have never created BAC0 to make things really easy, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably would have given up, because the coding in the real BACpypes library can be a little bit more challenging, but BAC0 is actually like a wrapper library around BACpypes. And I know Christian was doing some other tools built into BAC0 where you can do charting, kind of like some of the other BACnet, Yabe, how Yabe has like a charting tool. So there's different like BACnet troubleshooting tools. Yabe is called one of them. So okay, so we'll be experimenting with BAC0 and with BACpypes. And another thing that I'm doing as well is there's the BACnet discovery tool. I like this. So like whenever I create a BACnet application and I want to test it and verify it, this is something when I was a building automation technician, I would use the BACnet discovery tool all the time as my go-to troubleshooting when I'm on my Windows laptop and I want to read and write or discover a network. And then I still also use it for troubleshooting my own BACnet applications. I have a lot of faith built in this tool, and it's really easy to use too. So just Google Contemporary Controls BACnet Discovery Tool, and you just fill out the questionnaire, and you can just download their executable. So highly recommend it. So just to get started here, I'll even pull up the tool. Kind of looks like this. So this is version 2.14.01. And then what you have to do, like BACnet has, it resides on a port. That's a UDP port. So drop down and select your IP address for your local area network. Mine happens to be 168.204.11, and hits the search button. This will just extend through the full range of BACnet instance IDs, which we'll talk a little bit about later, but this is like input boxes for virtual addresses in BACnet. And so I'm in an office environment and I don't have a real building automation system to play with, so these are actually fake devices on a test bench. Maybe I can actually show you guys here. So I'm just gonna get my camera and kind of show you guys a little bit. Like that is my, if you see these devices down here, this is my Raspberry Pi. So these are Raspberry Pi computers. Sorry, it's like on the corner of my on my desk here, my test bench. That is my test bench. So and here's a network switch, and then each one of the Raspberry Pis are plugged into the network switch and then plugged into my desktop computer. So it is like my own fake building automation network. Let me just put my camera back here, and then so we use the BACnet discovery tool to essentially discover these BACnet devices. And this one is a fake VAV box, and this one is a fake air handling unit. And like we do on building automation networks, we discover points inside of them. There's a fake zone cooling set point, flow, a damper command, and what it is, it's just fake data. A fake airflow, 378 CFM, but it's just made up values. Then this is one for something with some Johnson Controls lingo of their point naming convention. Like this is outside air temperature, mixed air temperature, MA-T, and then this is also just fake data, which we'll get into. That's not a real temperature sensor reading. And then also, this is also something on the BACpypes repo, which we'll get into a little bit later, but this is in BACnet, you can have schedules. So this is actually representing a schedule of a building automation system, which I'll show you the code here shortly. Okay, so we covered the tool. If you want to see some of the code, which we'll get into this, so don't worry about understanding it right now, but this is actually how to make a BACnet device. Is we define our analog inputs a zone temp, our units, and then this is our description, a commandable, a writable, that's our zone cooling, our zone demand, and then these were all of our discoverable BACnet objects that we just saw in the BACnet discovery tool. So don't worry about this now. It looks kind of intimidating, but we'll get into this. And then you can see this is just fake data written with the Python random library to make it look like a real live sensor. So we'll get into this a little bit later. But for now, if you don't have a building automation system that you can play around with, you know, which is the best. When I was a building automation technician, I would love to play around with BAC0. When I was on site, you'd get your work done as fast as possible and leave a little bit of time to play around with Python at the end of the day or on a lunch break, and it's the best way to get into this stuff if you have a live HVAC system to work with. But if you don't, which I don't have, there are scripts right here to create, which you can run on Raspberry Pi. I think like maybe people could even, I'm trying to think like what would be the best way to maybe get a test bench set up. If anyone wants another bonus video on how to do that, maybe post something in the comments and I can just make a quick video on how to deploy this on a Raspberry Pi. It's pretty easy. It's just through SSH. So another thing worth saying is like I'm on Windows. As you can see, these BACnet, I'm going to run all this on Windows, which I think probably most people have. But if you have Linux, that's also really nice to run your BACnet applications on. Mac will work as well. All right, so maybe we could dive into our first lesson. Okay, so if we get back here, sorry, I got closed out of my window. Okay, the Pi BACnet Stacks Playground. So here we are. Let's jump into lesson number 1. It's just getting, week 1 is just getting familiar with Python, and then we'll just probably do some really easy assignments on how to do really simple print statements and math operators. So let's dive into lesson 1. Here we go. Here's day 1. So set up, okay, so this is it. So I'm going to read it. So set up your development environment by installing Python and pip. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to run Python 3.version. So I'll just show you where to do this. I actually have all this installed. So if you go download Python Windows, I actually like using just vanilla Python. So this is like plain Python right here. There's nothing fancy about it or anything. This is actually kind of cool. So Python 2.7, that's ended before COVID, and it looks like Python 3.9 is at the end of life, and it looks like I'm in Python 3.13. Looks like they already have 3.15 out, but I'm sure like 3.13 is probably pretty good. I would just shoot for some kind of the latest version of 3.13. So if you want to download, go to downloads, And then I like using just whatever this latest Windows executable installer is. Yeah, it's like here's the latest version of 3.13. Either one of these is fine. Maybe I'll see. Maybe I'll just install this just for the heck of it. So it's installed. So in my downloads, I'm just gonna run. I'm just in my downloads right now. See if I can run the installer for Python. Here it is. So I am just going to. I wonder if I already have this. I might already have this. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's remove it. So then we can just install it from scratch. Well, that works. There's also different scientific Python too, like Anaconda Python. So this is something you could also do, which I don't really do. If you are like a scientist at a research firm or something like that, you can install Anaconda Python, and all it is just like Python with a bunch of packages already installed for doing machine learning and all that stuff. It's for scientific purposes, and you can just install all of that individually with vanilla Python. So I know a lot of people really like Anaconda Python. I personally never used it, and a lot of people even like it for developing too, because I think it has some tools called Conda built into it, but I've never really used it a whole lot. There's also Python for the browser that you can run called IPython, but I only use that if I'm doing data analysis, and I don't even think we'll get into that. So like I said, just do the download for Windows. Just this latest 64-bit executable. Let's bring this up again. So okay, so here we go. So I'm going to use admin privileges when installing. Yeah, sure, why not? And then here we go. So I have these two boxes checked on the bottom, and then let's install Python on our local machine. Python also typically comes with Linux. So if you're on Linux or Mac, you might even have it built in, but it does not on Windows. Some flavors of Linux may not have Python. It's built into Linux, but you might not be able to access it. Raspberry Pi, I think, also comes with Python on it by default. And then I think we'll also install the I don't know why it's wanting us to install this. We're not going to install that. I have to clean this up. So we're going to use the package installer called pip to install a package called BAC0 and bacpypes3. Alright, so it looks like that is done. Setup was successful. Uninstall was successful. So here we go. This should be pretty easy. So if I bring up VS Code, I'm just going to go to a terminal. Oh, another thing I want to point out. If anyone is on Windows, get this tool too. Windows Terminal from the Microsoft Store. So this is a tool that makes PowerShell, the command prompt, look like Linux. I think it's actually a pretty cool tool to use. So I have it all the time on my taskbar. So when you bring it up, it'll makes it kind of look like Linux command prompt-ish. I personally really like it, so I think we could even do this in here. Python, look, there we are, 14.2. So we could just do the exit. And then I think you can also, if you don't have VS Code, which I would highly recommend installing, just go to VS Code and then just download and set up for Windows, and then just set it for your default IDE. So when you open up a Python file, it'll automatically open up VS Code, which it does for me. And then you can also open up for PowerShell or the command prompt, you can run Python files from here, but you don't really code from the command prompt like you do it in a coding in an IDE, an interactive development environment. And then just go to new terminal, and you can pull up PowerShell right in VS Code. And then you can close your terminals, and you can have split terminals, which maybe we'll get into a little bit as well. So I can just do Python, and that's the same thing where I was before. So if you get to these three little characters there, that means you're into the Python environment. You're talking to Python at that point in time. All right, so if we want to use the pip, the Python package manager, we do python-m for a package. That means that we're going to ask pip to install a package for us, which would be the bacpypes3 library and BAC0, and hit enter. Pretty easy. So right now pip reaches out to servers on the internet for python.org, and then it's installing these packages. Every coding language typically has some kind of a package manager associated, and with the Python, it's a tool called pip that's built into Python. So we could even do get out here, and then instead of requests, let's do BAC0. So I just get back into Python, and then I could go import. It gets case sensitive. And then you could do. I'm just going to copy this. Underscores -- version. If they have this built into the tool or not. They might not have they might not have this built into. Let me see. Wonder if bacpypes says. And it looks like they don't have this either. So another thing that you can do when this pops up is just go to artificial intelligence and then ask AI for help. This is just like really easy, basic little exercise here. Yeah, you could even do pip show. Let's try that. So to get back out of here, you have to do an exit, and then do, there we go. So this is another way of showing the version history. And it shows Christian Tremblay as the package manager. And then it also requires AIO, SQLite, bacpypes3, Colorama. So Christian built this tool with a couple other libraries built on top of it. And you can even do bacpypes3. Cool. And there's Joel Bender's contact information. So here we go, guys. So like we'll probably create like a files. We'll just call it script lesson or something, .py. Py is .py is the extension to make a Python file. You can even do just do a print hello Python. And then we'd run this file like Python script lesson.py, and as you can see down here it says hello Python. Alright, so I think this is a good place to start, guys. So as we get into this, I'll probably be correcting our AI generated coursework, but yeah, it's the start of something fun. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.